Welcome to the InfoMullet YouTube channel. If you enjoy this content, please like or share. And if you'd like to support the InfoMullet by becoming a mulleteer, visit us on Patreon. We appreciate your support. Rory asks, if we look at white-on-white homicides, is it comparable to other interracial homicides? If not, then wouldn't law enforcement target those racial neighborhoods at a higher rate of firearm weapon violations? This is a great question. Everyone asks this. It's very common. Believe it or not, beginning with evolutionary science in the animal kingdom, the biggest threat to animals are their peer neighbors, the ones who are most like them. This carries forward into human societies. The biggest risk you're at are the ones who look, act, and exist most like yourself. And this makes sense when you think about it. You know, the people you're more at risk of getting sexually assaulted by are actually in your family or neighbors or friends. They have access, they have proximity, they can exert grooming. Speaking of violent crime, crime occurs in the neighborhood you're in. And as we've had segregated communities, when we talk about racial crime, whites overwhelmingly kill other whites, blacks overwhelmingly kill other blacks. And it could be said that people will often say, I think, blacks kill blacks at 30% more than whites kill whites. But, oh yeah, 7%, got it, thank you. Yeah, I'm pulling those numbers off the top of my head. Usually it's exaggerated 30%, but it's not that much. And it's not that much of a small, it's one of the things, if one of the great tricks of statistical skullduggery is to take something that's very, very statistical rare and compare it to something else that is also very statistically rare and point out that one is slightly less rare than the other and say, haha, X% difference between the two. It's still, you need to think of the effect. They're both very statistically rare. Great point, Jay. If I said 99.99999% of blacks are not murderers and 99.99995% of whites are not murderers, that difference, yes, you could describe statistically that difference is white, but that's such a small fraction that it's kind of playing with statistical humana. I've also, in the coastline of violence, gone to some length to describe why conditions are violent in communities that blacks live in. And I use Chicago as an example. And it's not that blacks are more violent, it's that the policies we put in place in the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s, redlining, destruction of neighborhood with freeways, restrictive HOA covenants, all of these accumulated racist policies against blacks are the kinds of things that create conditions which enable violence, fragmented communities, low investment, poverty, the drug war, obviously. So I think the race on race killing rate is only, I think, one aspect that you need to look in a little closer. Yes, statistically, blacks are more likely to kill blacks and whites are more likely to kill whites. And between the two, blacks are a little bit more likely than whites. But there's a lot of reasoning for that I think doesn't go to some racial thing. It just has to do with the racist policies we've used against them in those communities. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to follow the InfoMullet, visit us on Facebook or Twitter. And if you'd like notifications when we post new video content, click on the red subscribe button below the video. If you've ever wanted to become a mulleteer and support the InfoMullet, visit us on Patreon. We appreciate the support.